How you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right. I'm fine.
Good, I'm glad you are today.
No, I'm fine, honestly.
I know you're fine.
I'm all good.
Welcome back to another video. Sun's shining.
Lovely day, really.
Not for long, though, I expect.
What? It's going bad, is it?
Bit of rain, mate, coming at the weekend. Just in
Really?
time for the bank holiday. Well, it's beautiful. And if I do say so myself, we do produce a beautiful looking Cosworth motor at the end of it, don't we?
I think we do. I think a lot of our engines come out, not just the Cosworths, but I think a lot of them come out looking pretty nice.
They've got to look nice, mate. Although it's only cosmetic, and really, it doesn't matter.
It don't make a difference.
It does matter a lot.
Well, it's just, you know, I always think for the people who are having them done, they don't see everything on the inside and they don't see all the bits, and
No.
so they can't appreciate, you know, if they turn up and see their engine and it's sort of like this scabby, horrible looking thing, it's like, what if I just spent 10 grand on?
Well,
but
what's it look like on the inside if that's what it looks like
Well,
on the outside?
there is
It doesn't hurt to replace bolts and stuff. The only people in the Cosy world, I obviously go on Facebook and I know builders and stuff like that. PJ Motorsport, they do produce a motor like this. You know,
you got to, I
Paul's
think.
been in the game a very long time, helped me a lot, as I've said to you guys before. But Mark, his son, is involved now, and you look on their Facebook page and what have you, and you know he's got a nice engine build room,
Yeah.
a bit like us, and the engines are always presented really nice.
I think you got to do it, really.
Yeah.
It's just, when they come to pick it up, it's that first initial, wow, that looks well good. Like, you know, it's
Well,
just,
most
and
of
it's
the
nice when they put it in the car, and even if the car's a bit tatty around it, they go, yeah, but look at my new,
This is the thing, and a
new
lot of
shiny
people,
motor.
a lot of customers haven't got a clue about engines.
Yeah.
They love their pride and joy, and they want the engine done nice, and all that they see when they turn up is nice new nuts and bolts and painted and blasted stuff, and it just, you know, for the sake of 20 quid's worth of bolts and stuff, I don't understand why people don't do it. It's careless.
No. Well, and even just like an hour or two cleaning bits up and painting stuff.
This
it's
is
just,
the thing.
You
know,
might as well do it.
It's got to be done. But yeah, all done now, mate. Lovely spec motor. So this is the one that was supposedly done. 2 or 3 sort of issues. It basically had a tapping noise, like a distinct hydraulic tap by the sounds of the video. So obviously I didn't see it or hear it in real life. But it turns out that the oil gallery bungs in the oil feeds in the block were clogged full of swarf.
You got like 3 of them, haven't you, up the...
You have,
not
yeah.
Not all of them do something, but
No, so you've got
3.
the centre one here, which feeds on the 2-wheel drive head, feeds in through the head, and then round the back here you can see it's blocked off, look. So that feeds the turbocharger, but on the 4-wheel drive it's done off the blocks, so that's blanked off. So really that doesn't do anything on the 4-wheel drive.
No.
This here is the feed for the cylinder head, which feeds the cams and the buckets.
Yeah, so that gets pumped up from the pump
here,
straight up into the
directly
head.
up into the head, and there is a restrictor in the cylinder head here to obviously restrict the flow of oil. Regulates it into the head. This one back here doesn't actually do anything, but it does feed. So the one thing that wasn't done, apart from the blockages in the head, this one here, although it didn't go anywhere, this was blocked solid, literally blocked solid of swarf, cast iron swarf, and I assume that is from when the studs were machined originally. Wasn't cleaned out. Trouble is with that, like I say, it's not going to go anywhere, but you've got about 3 inches of swarf. It was so compact, I had to drill it out.
Yeah.
And obviously that was gone up into the head, so that's all had to be cleaned out. But there's only one place for that to go, that swarf, and that's down into the main oil gallery
and get
into the flow of oil,
system,
straight into the crank bearings.
Yeah,
not going to do it any good. White metal
idea.
versus cast iron swarf, mate. Not a good idea.
No.
So we've cleaned that out. This one here was a bit clogged, so that is going to obviously be restricting the flow to the head, hence probably the tapping. And this one here, what we normally do when there's 10 long studs is you don't have the problem when you've got normal head bolts in this one, but it flows up here with the oil pressure and goes sort of into the stud.
Yeah, so when it's 6 long studs, which is the centre 6,
yeah,
it doesn't matter because that, you know, it doesn't interfere with that.
That thread doesn't go down into the water jacket, it's blanked off, so it doesn't matter. But when you 10 long stud it, you've got a stud you've drilled through. The only thing that's separating that oil, bear in mind it's probably at 4 or 5 bar pressure initially, stops it going, pushing into the water jacket, is an O-ring. And that stud here was laced in gooey, so that was the only thing. But really what we want to do is put a brass bung into that oil gallery.
You basically block it off and it doesn't go anywhere anyway. Did you say
So over here, look, we've got a head gasket, and this is how the head gasket sits on, and you can see that this here would be where the centre oil feed would go. Doesn't matter about the centre stud because that doesn't go into the water gallery. That is that is just a blanked off.
Go down the side of the stud.
But this one here, you can see it's all joint, so you're going to be getting full oil pressure around there, and it's going to force its way down and into the water gallery.
Yeah, so that's like these two here, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So we put a blank into there. Don't need that, and that stops that issue with the 10 studs. This is the one that feeds the head, and this is the one that feeds the turbo on the 2-wheel drive. So that was one thing that wasn't done. And yeah, apart from that, mate, balls were not honed correctly. One of the pistons was starting to wipe. So we've done it all properly.
Sort of rectified.
Hopefully it's all right, isn't it? So that is that motor done. Customer knows all about that. Next we have the Fiesta ST. This is the 1600 EcoBoost engine that I am machining now for those nice liners. And here are the ductile iron liners that go in.
Well, a big step on them, isn't there?
Yeah, a nice big 3/4 of an inch flange on the top there, mate. Nice and beefy. You've got 2 with the flats either side, 2 with 1 flat on the side, and they all butt up together. It's a little bit like how the block mod should properly be done, rather than wedging a razor blade in between it. This is the head, all done. Well, it's been skimmed by Hamlin's Engineering.
We could do with some of them, some little tags.
Couldn't we? Been skimmed but not cleaned at all, so we're going to be stripping that, decoking it, blasting it, and just go through it, make sure the valves and seats are okay and that. We've got a nice race multi-layer head gasket there from Athena.
Nice.
Got the I-beam con rods, which are better than the H section.
Yeah.
Nice and strong. These are from Wasner.
They look really nice.
They're very nice.
Quite a small rod, really, isn't they?
Well, yeah, I suppose it's a small motor, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
We've got the Wasner pistons with the Teflon coating.
They look cool.
Pretty trick. High comp compression crown. And yeah, the block's on there, mate. So we're going to be machining that.
Nice.
And get that done, hopefully, for the end of next week.
We've got to build that up, or is it
I've got to do a dummy build, and I'm going to be putting the crank and rods in, make sure everything's all right, and then the customer can Meccano the rest of it.
Nice.
You've been cracking on with that, Cosy, haven't you?
Yeah, I've sort of started, well, I've gone through the head, I've just got to put it all back together.
Yeah.
Just got all the springs in, just need to put the collets in and the spring tops. And then I can carry on with that, Cosy.
So these are not easy, are they, mate?
It's replacing the guides is a long and drawn-out process.
It's a nasty bronze.
Yeah, nasty bronze. It's very, very hard bronze, and it likes to clog up the reamer.
Yeah.
And not only that, but knocking them out and pushing them back in is a bit of a nightmare. Here's Tom Upton.
Here's Tom Upton in his Civic track car, which he's obviously got running.
He's a total legend.
That guy is the saviour of all our dreams. He makes everything come true. He spotted the camera and he has paused. Anyway, mate, moving on to more important things. The kit car.
Oh, yeah.
Stuart is cracking on. We have got a week and 2 days until the next track day. We've got a little bit of work to do to the Mark 1, but I'm not going to go into that today. And a little bit of work to do to the kit car. So we've still got to sort the diff out. But the main thing is, and this is a problem we've come across today, we have an aftermarket slave cylinder that operates the clutch.
Yeah.
The slave cylinder isn't off a bike, it's off something else. And as I said to you before, the clutch is horrid. It's like an on-off switch. And
basically it doesn't work. Not
it,
like
it
a clutch.
works, like it disengages a clutch, but it makes it but basically it's that bad you can't use it on the road, can you?
No.
So it's literally, once you let it out, just don't bother about the clutch again. It's great for track. So, and obviously when the prop let go last time, it's took the slave cylinder clean off the motor and snapped half of one of the lugs off on the block.
Sort of the mounting for it, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So what I've got here, mate, and this is the reason we used an aftermarket slave cylinder. This is the original cover off the Blackbird engine. So this is the slave cylinder that goes in there, and it's rod, because the clutch is the other side of the engine, it's rod activated.
Right, so
get this out.
So the difference, the kit car used to have it was a cable clutch, wasn't it, on the Fireblade?
On the blade, yeah, but this is a hydraulic.
Hydraulic on the Blackbird.
Thank you for correcting me there, mate, and letting people know what we're going on about here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is hydraulic. So on the old setup, so this was with the old prop that failed, one reason we couldn't use the original is, one, we've obviously got this cover which covers the original sprocket on the bike, but we would have had to cut that out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we used this spacer because the prop was too short. Okay. And with the spacer on the flange, then the prop bolted to that, so you had long bolts, which obviously failed. Then it brought the flange out to about there. And if you can see, there's a cross there where the centre of the prop would be. You can see it encroached on where the banjo would be.
Yeah.
Stuart had a brainwave. Now, the problem we've got is, this one here, so that's how it would go on the bike. This lug here is what's broke off. Oh. And we were using, what we were doing, obviously we did away with that. We've got the aftermarket slave cylinder that bolted with 2 bolts, one in there and one in here. So what we're thinking is welding on. Stuart had a little brainwave. He said, now we don't need that, and the prop sits in effect an inch back.
Yeah.
Why don't we utilise the original cover, because we're going to have more clearance here, because obviously the prop diameter, so we might be able to bolt it there, which means we will have a bleed nipple at the top, so we'll be able to bleed it correctly, because the aftermarket one didn't have it. And then we will have more bolts that bolt to the actual casing of the engine.
So it'll be a bit more strength.
A lot more strength.
And yeah, that's probably a good idea.
So we've got 3 mounting holes here. We've obviously got these 2 as well. And then here he is, look, he's bringing the diff over. He's a good one, isn't he? It's like our permanent resident mechanic. Thank you, mate. And if need be, we can space this out to get enough room.
Yeah, so you could put spacers on the back here.
Well, before we got rudely disrupted by our battery going in the camera, I have done a bit of a, this is one I made earlier. So, as you can see there, I have machined, when I say machine, I did it with a die grinder, took out that front bit there. So now we are going to have the prop shaft exposed. So it goes around this way. And then as you can see, if we space that out using 20 mil, we worked it out, me and Stuart, 20 mil spacers on the back of this to bring it out, we will then be able to put the original banjo on there, and that will clear the new prop shaft flange. And that means we'll be able to bleed this thing because it has the bleed nipple where it is. It's the original bike slave cylinder, so hopefully with the new clutch we get a nice pedal with plenty of feel and pickup, so it's not like an on-off switch. If that's the case, this is going to transform this car. So fingers crossed, guys. What have I got to do? I've just got to do, Stuart dropped over the differential, so I've just got to do we've got to manufacture a pinion nut socket, so I can do the correct pressure on the squish there, on the collapsible spacer, because I didn't do that before, and it's all a bit prick in a bucket. And then, to be honest, guys, I'm pretty much certain that we're going to get this car done, or hopeful that we're going to get this car done by next week. And we can use it on the track day, at least test it. Be absolutely fantastic. And then, do we sell it? Do we keep it? Can't keep them all, guys, but yeah, that is it for today's video. Hopefully in the next video we get a little bit more further with this. We get this on. I can take you over to Stuart's, show you what we've done. A little bit hard to explain. And yeah, let's see if it works, guys. Let's see if we get a pedal and can work that clutch nicely. But until next video, thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening. Make the most of the sun. We'll see you then. Cheers, guys.